Eastern and Central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in Skycam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
We knew some snow was coming, but nobody expected one of the worst spring snowstorms this area has ever seen. Early morning risers had to shovel anywhere from 5 to 15 inches of snow, and it just kept coming down. The WNEP Winter Watch computer told us almost 60 schools were either delayed, closed, or letting students out early. And then there were the roads. Interstate travelers were stopped in their tracks, many stranded since early this morning because of spinouts, jackknives, and accidents ahead of them. Especially hard hit roads to the east. Interstate 84 and 380 were closed most of the day. Meanwhile, Bloomsburg to the southwest was a study in contrasts. Only wet streets, little snow, and green grass and spring flowers.
Farther north, plenty of jackknifed rigs along Interstate 81 in Lackawanna County. Part of the roadway between exits 55 and 56 was closed for most of the day while crews cleaned up the mess. This stretch of the interstate did reopen late this afternoon. Since many truckers could not get where they had to go, they packed into truck stops, such as the Skyliner Diner here in Pittston Township, waiting for Interstate 81 to be clear again.
Good evening. It's been a busy, hectic day for most of us.
And our Newswatch 16 team has been out all day long covering the April snow. Tonight we'll tell you about a state of emergency in Pike County and the closing of Interstate 84. Kathy Bellich will tell us about Interstate 380 that was turned into a parking lot by the snow. And Dan Fiorucci on PennDOT, which was also caught off guard by the April snow.
Both Pike and Wayne counties have been really hard hit by the snow, and tonight Pike County has declared a state of emergency because of the snow and the road conditions. It's the first step to get state help to cope with the snow there. Pike County officials request people to stay off all roads in Pike County. Hardest hit, of course, is Interstate 84, where people are still stranded tonight. Here you see late video coming back from Skycam 16, shot just a few hours ago, where a lonely plow is taking one track down the interstate and literally hundreds of semi-tractor trailers behind it. Skycam landed so that, at the request of state police, a trooper could get into Skycam to take a view from Skycam 16 of the emergency situation, again, so that state police can find ways to alleviate the massive situation that exists on our interstates at this time. And somehow, photographer Tom Hovey and Bob Reynolds drove through 2 feet of snow today to get to Wayne County. Let's find out what they found.
There were only a few sure ways to get around Wayne and Pike counties. A few brave souls tried walking. Others believed they had a better idea: snowmobiles. Just about everywhere you looked, the snow was almost blinding. Cars and trucks littered the roads up to their axles in snow. Even folks who have lived around here for years say that the storm caught them by surprise. Look at this. The snow is up to my knees, and the people here say it's like living in another world.
It's crazy. It's supposed to be springtime. We have a good 14 inches of snow up here, and probably 2 or 4 inches fell since the snowplows went by about an hour ago.
Accidents everywhere! Hundreds of people were stranded and left their cars behind and walked miles through the storm. Greg Carey of Scranton was one of those people. He hitched a ride with us. Carey says that happened just in time, too, because he needed medical attention at Scranton's Community Medical Center.
It was real bad, and we had to leave the car there. We, we had no choice. We could either walked or just sat there and ran out of gas or froze or whatever.
The people I talked to said it's very likely that Greg Carey and hundreds of others will long remember the spring snowstorm of 1986. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16.
Incidentally, Bob Reynolds, a photographer, and Skycam pilot Jack Ruland are up in Skycam 16 right now. They were supposed to give us a live report. However, they have become involved in a rescue as a medevac helicopter. We'll have more on that when it becomes available. Karen?
Newswatch 16's Joe Ducey is live now on Interstate 84 in Lackawanna County, where some of those stranded people are getting off the interstate. Joe?
Well, Karen, I'm here along Interstate 84, the Mount Cobb exit. As you can see, it's really a mess. The traffic's still backed up here, as much as probably from the pictures before. I think that Skycam is the way to travel here. The people that I talked to say they've been here, many of them, since early in the morning. One guy, 16 hours he's been here. But it's not just this road, it's also the support roads that lead to Interstate 84, and we can vouch for that. Here, we're going to show you some video here of a little bit earlier in the day of 84. The people say that they've learned here that it's about 25 miles backed up. Here are some ladies from the Scranton area that are trying to make it to upstate New York for Passover. They're one of the lucky people because there were some vehicles that did get through and managed to get them out. Hopefully that they will make it on time. I guess it is bad for most of these people, but it is good for some entrepreneurs. These people say that there have been people out here selling hoagies, cups of coffee to them, and they're going to pay the money because they need the food right now. That's it here from Interstate 84. Joe Ducey, Newswatch 16, live along 84 in Scranton. Karen?
Okay, be careful, Joe. It was the same story on Interstate 380 this morning. Newswatch 16's Kathy Bellich and photographer Neil Gallagher were stranded with everyone else on their way to the Poconos. This is what it was like.
Morning rush hour traffic got way out of hand on Interstate 380 today. Everyone was either headed to the Pocono area or passing through on their way to another state. But it didn't matter where all these people wanted to go. They weren't going anywhere. How long have you been stuck on the interstate?
It's about 2:45 this morning.
That long?
Yeah.
What have you been doing all this time?
Just sitting, listening to the radio and sleeping.
New York trucker Martin French was one of the recipients of the hospitality of a Maryland family who was serving coffee to motorists from their motorhome. Some decided to catch up on their reading. Others were weeding out expired coupons. One Florida couple was thinking of better ways to spend their 37th wedding anniversary rather than not traveling.
90 miles since 7 o'clock this morning. That's walking.
This North Carolina family remained optimistic.
We were expecting sunshine and about 70 degrees.
What do you think about this?
Well, we're trying to be patient. We've been praying it would stop, and we believe it will.
Whatever all these people are doing while they're waiting, you can bet that at least part of the time they regretted ever having gotten onto Interstate 380 today. Kathy Bellich, Newswatch 16, Lackawanna County.
Believe it or not, this is not a record-breaking snowfall for this area in the month of April. Remember a couple of years ago, April 1983 to be exact, we were socked with almost 20 inches of snow over a 3-day period. 5.5 inches fell on April 18th, another 9 or so on the 19th, and 5 more inches of snow on the 20th. It meant a lot of digging out, as in Scranton. Skycam 16 gives you a good idea of what the area looked like 3 years ago when we had the heaviest snowfall ever in April. Well, our chief meteorologist Tom Clark told us last night that there would be snow.
But we don't think anyone expected the amount of snow that some areas received. Was it a freak snowstorm, Tom?
It was very freaky, Nolan. We've had snow in the forecast for the middle of this week since last Saturday, but never did we expect to have this much. The computers totally missed it, and the heaviest snow fell in a very small portion of northeastern Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, about a third of our viewing area had no snow at all. Let me show you on the Weather Watch computer here just what happened. The storm stalled right about south of New England, and the flow coming in off the ocean, a very moist flow across southern New England, rammed into the mountains of northeastern Pennsylvania, and it was forced to rise. And that unleashed very heavy snowfall amounts in a very narrow band. A bullseye of very heavy snow in the Poconos, and these are the amounts as reported to us in the past 6 hours. 1 to 5 inches, it then goes to 5 to 10, 10 to 15, and then 15 to 20, 20 to 26 inches of snow now on the ground in portions of the Poconos, Pike County, and Lake Wallenpaupack. But according to our latest forecast, there is plenty of sunshine coming the next few days, so a massive snowmelt is about to take place. I'll be back a little bit later on to tell you how warm it's going to get.
Okay, Tom, thanks. Since we were caught off guard by the amount of snow, how did PennDOT road crews handle the problem?
Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci is live at the PennDOT garage in Pittston Township. They must have been real busy, Dan.
Karen, they were. As a matter of fact, that PennDOT salt dome that you see behind me is nearly empty now. Let's hope that's a sure sign that spring really is on its way. Now, around dawn, the true size of today's snowfall became apparent, and that's when PennDOT crews swung into high gear, trying to get the upper hand on Mother Nature.
By early this afternoon in low-lying areas, Mother Nature was finishing what PennDOT had started. warming temperatures were helping plows to get rid of the snow that played havoc with driving. Still, in higher elevations like Bear Creek, some roads were slick enough to make cars spin out and motorists dig out.
My husband said take 115 to 80, so I guess he forgot that it was rather mountainous.
PennDOT officials admit they got a late start battling a snowstorm that seemed to take everyone by surprise.
It caught us off guard. We expected, like everyone else, flurries in the valley areas and 2 or 3 inches in the higher elevations, and instead we got much more than that, and I think it pretty much surprised everybody.
Now, PennDOT says one advantage of a spring snowfall is that the ground isn't frozen and the snow tends to melt away quickly. One disadvantage, just as you and I remove snow tires from our cars this time of year, PennDOT had begun to convert its heavy equipment from winter uses to summer uses, and that made battling today's snow a bit more difficult. Dan Fiorucci live with the Instacam in Pittston Township. Nolan?
Thank you, Dan. Our Winter Watch computer has been busy all day today with school closings and delays. There are 2 school cancellations tonight. The Monroe County VOTEC, and they canceled all adult evening classes, and the NEIU in Scranton has canceled also evening classes. When Newswatch 16 continues, we'll tell you about a boil advisory in Jim Thorpe.
Plus, we'll show you a drugstore that's pulled adult magazines off its shelves.
At Nathan's Furniture, we'd like to help you make your decorating dreams come true. You can live like a king by taking advantage of this limited-time fantasy offer. It combines sale prices on every item in the store with a tailor-made payment plan that lets you take up to 5 years to pay. And that's not all. For the Queen, we're offering free electroplated 22-karat gold jewelry with your purchase. And for the royal family on vacation, would you believe luggage for just $12.88? So hurry to Nathan's, where it's our pleasure to make your decorating dreams come true.
Yes, Pennsylvania, you can afford a Buick, and we'll prove it now with the surprisingly low sticker price of our new Buick Skyhawk and a big incentive for you to see us now. An expense-paid family vacation to Central Florida's exciting Walt Disney World. Skyhawk price includes power steering, power brakes, front-wheel drive, fuel injection, even AM/FM stereo. So come register now to win the trip or one of 80 exciting other prizes at your Pride of Pennsylvania Buick dealers now.
Nolan?
The Rite Aid Corporation says it will no longer sell adult magazines in 1,400 stores in 20 states. There are 21 Rite Aid stores in our area. This follows similar action taken earlier this month by 7-Eleven stores. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis reports the magazines aren't the only adult material sold in a Rite Aid store.
The days are numbered for magazines like Playboy and Penthouse at your local Rite Aid drugstore. The corporation says, through talks with various customers, it has determined some people are very concerned over minors getting a hold of and looking at the adult material. Michael Kinney manages the Rite Aid drugstore on Public Square in Wilkes-Barre. He says the magazines are not really a popular item.
Well, they weren't that big. They really weren't. I think we sell more of the crossword-type books than adult magazines.
But they did get some lookers. Penny Ramagli is a cashier. She says the magazines get more lookers than buyers.
We have to watch young ones, too, because they have a tendency to walk over and look, and then we keep them away from there. But it's usually the older ones that stand there quite a while, and then we have to tell them, you know, they have to leave.
Once the supply lapses, that'll be it. No other adult magazines will be put out on the shelves here at Rite Aid, and the shelves will be bare. But let me show you something. Right around the corner from the adult magazines, another adult matter, the adult video lists. Rite Aid rents and sells adult videotapes. Rite Aid says it is re-examining adult video rental and sales. Changes on these items may also be coming in the future. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, Wilkes-Barre.
And to bring you up to date on what Skycam is doing right now, we're told that both Skycam and the state police helicopter are flying in opposite directions along Interstate 84 because there's a report of a traffic accident with a baby injured. So both helicopters are in the air trying to find where that accident is so that they can transport that baby to a hospital. We'll keep you up to date.
And a brief reminder that the Jewish observance of Passover begins tonight, continues for the next 8 days, recalling the exodus from Egypt of Jewish people held as slaves over 3,000 years ago.
And next, Tom Clark to tell us if there's any more snow on the way or what's going to happen next, Tom.
We have a spell of nice weather coming. So a lot of the snow is is going to be melting off quickly the next few days. Any chance of flooding with all that snow melt? I'll talk about that when we come back. But now I'll say that you're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP. And we're proud to serve Natalie and all of Northumberland County.
You can too during the Lincoln Mercury Mercour Great American Shape-Up. Now we're holding the line on prices, but we're not stopping there. Get low 7.9 annual percentage rate financing on great shapes like Mercury Cougar, Lynx, Topaz, and Capri, and a special low lease rate on Lincoln Town Car and Mercour XR4 Ti. Or save hundreds on select Mercury models when you buy special option packages. The Great American Shape-Up at your Lincoln Mercury Mercour dealer today.
The shape you wanna be in.
You may not receive hits like this, but your knee is a special joint with special problems. When your knee hurts, call the healthcare professionals at the Knee Center. Whether you hurt your knee yesterday or if it's a long-time nagging injury, the professionals at the Knee Center can help. Call the Knee Center and you'll receive a prompt appointment and professional service. Remember, when your knee hurts, call the Knee Center first. The Knee Center, located in the Pine Mall, right below the Wyoming Valley Mall on Route 115.
Well, the big question, what's going to happen to all this snow when it melts, Tom? Hopefully not any flooding.
Karen, I don't think so. The very heavy snowfall amounts, say upwards to 15, 25 inches, occurred in a very small area. Now, when all that snow melts the next few days, some of the streams in the Poconos and parts of Pike and Wayne County will be rising, but as far as the entire region is concerned, I don't expect any real flooding problems. The Susquehanna should be able to handle all this snow melt since not a whole lot of snow fell across the Susquehanna River Basin. But in those areas where upwards to 20 inches of snow did fall, I would keep an eye on the streams the next few days. They may get to about bank full because we have a lot of sunshine on the way, and this snow is going to melt like a bar of butter on a hot skillet now. Got some snow-covered apple blossoms behind me. Let's check in with some weather watchers now. We had about 6 inches of snow here, but Dave Antonelli reports only about an inch on the ground in Sugarloaf, Luzerne County, with a temperature of 34 degrees. Karen Hauser in State College, that's out there in Center County, 52 degrees and sunny in the past hour. And Michael Kachinarski in Lopez, 3 inches, 36 degrees at his place. Now, at our place, sun is breaking through low in the west. 41 degrees, humidity 55%, the wind is from the north at 10, and the barometer is at 30.02. 41 was all it got to today with all that snow blowing around. 28 was the low this morning, and the record high, 85 degrees, set back in a year ago today when we had a thunderstorm move through. And there's a view from Frackville in Schuylkill County. Now, coming up next is a photograph of meteorologist Paul Hepner, who was out in the backyard this afternoon wondering what the heck happened today. There's the back edge of the snowstorm, and Paul was very helpful today. He was into the weather office this afternoon helping me out, and it was a big help. And there's the back edge of the snowstorm there, and the snow has now moved out of Pennsylvania. Look at all the clearing to the west, and that is going to mean a nice sunny warm-up over the next couple of days. Next chance for any rain will come on Saturday, but no snow is in my forecast. Moonshine overnight tonight. The moon is just about full. 28 in Montrose for the low tonight. Bear Creek 28. And out to the west, there could be some frost in some of the coldest valleys. 27 in Montoursville and Sunbury, about 30. The wind out of the northwest overnight tonight. Here's the sunrise time for tomorrow. That will be at 5:11, and the sun sets at 6:53. Now feast your eyes on this. Clearing overnight tonight, 28. Sunshine tomorrow, close to 60 degrees. Clear tomorrow night, bright and sunny on Friday, hitting 70. And I think by Saturday, most of the snow will be gone. 67 degrees, chance of a rain shower. Few icy spots in the elevations tonight, so take it easy.
Okay, will do. The Sports Watch is next with Tim Carlson with good news about a local bowler.
Plus another horse story, only this time it's a different kind of teamwork.
Cut your energy bills with a new Carrier central air conditioner or heat pump. Buy now with no down payment. Pay later. How much later? June? No. July? No. Not even August. You don't have to pay till after Labor Day. Then choose convenient monthly terms or pay the full amount with no interest charges. A limited time offer. Call today.
Call Ant's Refrigeration Shenandoah or John A. Yennis in Dallas now for this limited time offer.
At Turkey Hill, we still make ice cream right here on the hill.
We start with lots of rich, farm-fresh cream and natural ingredients, like toasted nuts and real fruit. So isn't it time you tried the ice cream that's still made right? We make more than 20 delicious flavors. Go ahead, taste it. Turkey Hill ice cream in the round tub that seals in freshness. One taste and you'll know we still make it right up on the hill.
Well, despite all the snow, the sports world is still with us. I even heard a baseball game on radio today, Tim.
We're still here somehow, but we'll muddle through. You know the old story in sports. It's teamwork that counts. Last night's first place and first race at Pocono Downs was a perfect example of that. The horse on the outside going in front is Ocala Star Candy, driven by Lynn O'Donoghue and trained by Desmond O'Donoghue. Ocala Star Candy won the race, and John Evans tells us the teamwork that brought the victory has a unique twist.
Lynn O'Donoghue was the leading percentage driver at Pocono Downs this year. She has more top 3 finishes per number of starts than any other driver. Desmond O'Donoghue is currently tied for second among trainers at Pocono for wins. No, they are not brother and sister. They are newlyweds of 4 months.
I think I would rather have it married to somebody in the business like I am instead of somebody out of the business. I think it's hard to explain to people that aren't in the business, you know, your hours, your time you have to be away, things like that.
They share long days at their 7-horse stable at Pocono. The morning hours are spent training, and at night they race. They split the work 50-50. You might think they're crazy, but to them, 9 to 5 just isn't what they want.
I couldn't do anything else. There's just no other answer. I couldn't do anything else. I worked on a job for about 6 months, 9 to 5, and I went crazy. I couldn't handle it.
With their schedule, they get 3 months per year with each other away from racing. The other 9 months are split between the stable, the paddock, and the winner's circle.
I don't want it any other way. You know, 50-50, we're together, and I love seeing her race horses. I'm a nervous wreck when she races, but I just love to see her do good.
Although wins and top 3 finishes are what's making Lynn a top driver here at Pocono Downs and Desmond a top trainer, that's not all that matters to these two. What matters more is the fact that while they're racing together. John Evans, Sports Watch 16, Pocono Downs, Plains Township.
I've got another local boy makes good story. Joe Hutchinson, a professional bowler from Scranton, had a big day in Akron, Ohio. Hutch is bowling in the PBA Firestone Tournament of Champions, and right now he's second place after 1 round of the tournament. He's just 1 pin behind Gary Dickinson. And we will have more on Joe Hutchinson at the Firestone tonight on the update. By the way, the Phils beat Montreal this afternoon, 5-4. See you later.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. And we'll be recapping our top story in just a moment.
It's that big spring snow. We'll have more next.
Think IGA today.
We think your family deserves IGA table rate quality meats every time. Plus savings on Bumblebee Chunk Light Tuna, 6.5 ounce can, 68 cents. Or Kraft Miracle Whip, quart jar, $1.48. Or Johnson's Pledge, 14 ounce size, $1.88. And a half gallon of Penn Supreme ice cream, $1.69. Stock up on IGA table rate meats and
Think IGA.
Hamburger places think it's a snap to make chicken nuggets. But when it comes to doing chicken right, they're just going around in circles. At Kentucky Fried Chicken, making great tasting chicken is all we do. Our nuggets are made with our secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, and they taste great. So for nuggets done right, come to the chicken experts. Anyone else is just along for the ride.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Once again, our top story, the April snow. The Pike County Commissioners have declared a state of emergency there because of the snow. Officials are working to put up stranded people in emergency shelters at the firehouses in Blooming Grove and Milford. These pictures were taken late this afternoon from Skycam 16 over Interstate 84 in the Wayne, Pike, and Lackawanna County area. A lot of people are either stranded or have abandoned their cars and trucks to walk to rest stops or to other shelters. Right now, as we told you earlier in this newscast, Skycam 16 and a state police helicopter are along Interstate 84 looking for an accident. We have reports that a child has been injured in that accident. Both helicopters are in the air. Hopefully, they will be able to land and take that child to a hospital. Again, that's along Interstate 84 in Pike County near Exit 7. Both Skycam 16 and a state police helicopter are in the air looking for that accident. Now, traffic is backed up so much along many of the interstates that PennDOT, the Red Cross, and other officials are having a hard time getting to the stranded people. In some parts of the Poconos, the weather watchers report around 2 feet of snow on the ground. Of course, we will be following those stranded people, and we'll have the very latest tonight on the update.
And that is Newswatch 16 for a Wednesday.
Be sure to join us tonight at 11. For the team, thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Enjoy your evening.